From the LFC Transfer Room, my name is Charlie. I'm joined by the brilliant Waleed and Johnny. Thank you for joining us, gents. This is just to get a little bit of instant match reaction to, unfortunately, another league defeat. Liverpool have lost to Brentford away 3-2. Let's kind of kick off. Let's kind of get into it because there's a lot on my mind. I would love to be able to talk about. Waleed, what's your kind of first impressions of the game? The starting lineup. Let's go before the match. How you felt, because I put in our little WhatsApp group as to my thoughts. Yeah. What I felt the team should be, the structure, considering the performance that we had on the week, midweek. So, yeah, what do you think, man?
Yeah, to be honest, I was looking around kind of the TikToks and the Twitters or X, the different predictions, and I think everyone near enough again had a similar starting 11. There was one or two, maybe does a Robbo start rather than Kirkes, does McAllister start on the bench, maybe Szoboszlai goes to right back, McAllister starts. So there's one or two positions I think everybody wanted to either chop or change. I think we all felt Salah was going to start. Listen, I wasn't too disgruntled with the starting 11. I thought that was a pretty decent starting 11, especially off Frankfurt, the result that we got at Frankfurt. And if I'm honest, even 70% of the Frankfurt game I was pretty impressed with. So, yeah, I was pretty happy with everything overall. Maybe Robbo should have started. But again, I wasn't that like, oh, no, Kirkes shouldn't have started. But that was before the fact, sorry. So, yeah, I think the starting 11 I was pretty happy with, especially with the injuries of Isaac, and Gravenberch wasn't fully fit either. So I think in terms of the starting 11, it wasn't going to be, the one that we're going to decide if we're going to win the game or not. I think it was an absolute okay. I say an okay starting 11 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, just coming back to what I was discussing, was it right for Salah to start there, Johnny? Considering the form that he was in, I know Salah's Salah, and the form should. How can we say this? Do we trust the man, or do we go with the form of the players, considering the performance that we had midweek?
Oh, it's a tough question to answer. I think with Salah, look, I had him in mind. Predicted 11 this week. After the Frankfurt game, I was like, okay, he's been dropped. Come into the Prem, he knows the Prem well, do well, but my God, what did I wrong about that? Yeah, to answer your question, I think now we're at the point where we just got to look at form and winning games. There's so much to dive in that even I want to bring up throughout the stream today. But to answer your question, I think with Salah now, I think he has to start on the bench now for the next a little while. I think he scored today, and
but he didn't do anything else.
Exactly. What else did he do? Absolutely nothing. He was pish all game, and yeah, I just think now is the time where he starts the next couple of games on the bench. And it's not even unfortunately, because I don't care. I want to see my team win, and I'm over losing 4 games in a row. I'm over being underneath Manchester United now. I'm pissed off, as you can tell. But yeah, Salah starts on the bench from now on, in my opinion. But he's not the only one.
Yeah. So. No. Well, let's correct one little thing, and maybe this is how Craig's feeling. But Craig, your camera is showing, even though your portrait, you're kind of like on the side. So I don't know if there's anything that you can do to just sort out your camera, and then we'll get
classic. Let's see.
Let's do it.
Well, this is the balance. This is the balance that Liverpool got, and unfortunately, still Craig is still not working, mate. But
there you go.
Let's stick with that, man. That works.
Story of my life.
You're a handsome man, so whatever camera angle that you're going with, I'm sure everyone will appreciate it. So let's just go.
There we go.
Craig, how are you, mate?
Good.
I know, obviously, we would love to be in better circumstances, and Liverpool winning, and the performance that we had on the midweek. The question I've posed to Waleed and to Johnny is talking about the starting lineup. Just to kind of let's think about that. What's your thoughts about the starting lineup? I'm very, very kind of adamant that we should try to have stuck with at least the same formation, the 4-4-2 that did us really well. You saw Wirtz play extraordinarily well for his first, the first time probably in the Liverpool shirt where he felt really comfortable. But what are your thoughts about that starting lineup?
I was of the opinion that
Robbo probably should have been in at left back. Salah, I kind of assumed that he was going to be in the lineup. It's not Arne Slot. It's not like him to sit Salah for 2 games in a row. I don't think he's done that yet since he's taken the role as manager. So it doesn't surprise me that Salah was in there, especially with Isak being out. I would have obviously loved to have seen Chiesa, but clearly that I don't know. I have no answer for the Chiesa situation anymore. I'm just whatever. But the left back situation, I think leading into the game, I had the opinion that Kirkez was more likely to start just because Slot's on this rotation. But I genuinely think that Robbo would have been so much better in there because so often I was seeing both Milos Kirkez and Connor Bradley up the pitch. And it was very, very often where it was just Virgil and Ibu as a back two, where Georgie was kind of having to play as the middle guy, and we were just getting carved to bits through those alleys the entire game. It felt like on any transition, Brentford was kind of just making waste of us pretty quickly. Whereas when we had Robbo in against Frankfurt, we were able to just slot into that back 3, and Robbo was able to progress the ball into the midfield into Curtis Jones into that next space, and then Curtis was able to get it up to Flo in the next space. But everything was just so disjointed, and I'm so convinced that it was only because of that substitution. Now seeing it in hindsight, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's Waleed, I'll come to you on this one. The balance of the team. We probably did expect Brentford to be so really, really aggressive. And how's the makeup of that team? Should we have potentially started looking at bringing in McAllister for the midfield, or is there anything else that we could have done? Hindsight's a beautiful thing, obviously, in football, right? But is there anything that is clearly wrong? The Robbo one's probably really clear on because we knew that Brentford are going to be really physical, and Kirkez hasn't really got that up there right now. But anything else that could have been done?
If I'm completely honest with you, it was almost like my heart and brain was like looking at the team sheet, and I was like, my heart was like, oh, we're gonna, carry on from the Frankfurt game. It's gonna be amazing. This is the turnaround. But my head was like, this isn't something new. It's almost like a root cause to this. This isn't, regardless of whether I believe McAllister starts or Robbo starts or whoever you start, I generally do not believe the result would have been any different. Maybe we would have got a draw. Maybe we would have seen a little bit of a better performance. But in the last 22 games, we've literally lost or drawn half of them. So that means this isn't a 1 or 2 result. This isn't something that we've picked up a draw here and there. Half the games in the last 22, which is, I'd say, 2/3 of a season near enough, we've lost or drawn including last season's Premier League. In the last 22 games, we've drawn or lost half of them. Now, that is a worrying sign. This isn't because it's a new season. So for me, I think people are talking about Kirkez isn't, up to speed. He isn't maybe the shirt's heavy, but for me, I think Slot is the main root to this cause. I think, we're coming into November and we still here are talking about Szoboszlai potentially going to right back. We don't know what our starting 11 is. Do we start McAllister? Do we not? I believe in majority of Klopp's era, we knew who our front 3 were. We knew who the starting 11 was. He knew everybody in the bench who were going to be on the bench. So for me, I think there's a deeper issue to this. I think regardless of who we start and who we don't start, I think there's going to be a common occurrence. I think there needs to be questions spoken about Slot. I think it's starting to get to that time where we're not seeing systems plays. We're not seeing. It feels like nobody really truly knows what they need to do. Do they come? Do they go? Do they press? Do they not?
Yeah.
It just seems to be like all over the place. And again, maybe people disagree. Maybe we need more plays in certain places. But I think regardless of what happens for the rest of the season, especially to the end of this year, no matter who you start, I think you're going to see more draws and losses for me.
Do you think, Johnny? Do you think Slot's been given a bit of a? He's been dealt a bad hand in the sense of Salah just dropping off. Now, whether that's a mentality thing, I don't know. Whether it's a physicality thing, I hope not. There's that situation. McAllister having had his surgery in the summer, and that's kind of been lingering on. The issue with Isak obviously not being able to kind of play a full 90 minutes. The issues in fullback positions. Has he just been dealt with a bit of a tough draw in these early parts of the week? Obviously, the 5 wins that we got at the start of the season, did they paper over the cracks? I'd love to kind of get your thoughts, everyone, on that. You know, that's going to be a broad question to everyone. But Johnny, I'll start with you.
Yeah. Yeah, like, did they paper over the cracks? Maybe. But at the same time, Slot's not out there defending set pieces. He's not out there winning second balls. He's not out there defending at the back post. The team that he has put out the last 4 games should have won every game. Let's be honest here. The players on that team sheet should be going out and winning every game. Is there tweaks within the formation that he could probably fix? Yeah. But at the same time, like, I just can't get my head around some people. I'm not calling out Ward here, but like I've seen it. I've seen it on Twitter already. Like, people are saying that they want Slot out. Are you mad? Like, do people just have like a Dory mindset right now? Do people forget what happened last season? Like, do people forget that we won the first 5 games of the season? Like, I get that there's issues. We're 4 games on the bounce now, and it's an issue. And I have confidence in Slot that Slot's going to turn it around 100%. Were there question marks over today's performance? Obviously, but I don't think the team that he put out per se was a team that should have put in that performance today. The team is more than capable of going to Brentford and doing them over. It was pretty much the same team against Frankfurt, and look what we did to Frankfurt. Like,
Yeah.
Salah got a break against Frankfurt. Milos Kerkez didn't even play against Frankfurt, so you're thinking, okay, like, he's going to come in, Slot's giving him the chance now to go and prove to everyone why he's been brought in for big money and whatnot. And it's the players' fault at the end of the day. Like, the players are the ones that play the football. Like I said earlier, maybe there are some things that Slot could tactically fix. I think he should just go straight 4-3-3 from now on.
Yeah.
Get 3 midfielders in. If you want to play Verts, play him on the left. I'm at the point, I thought Gakpo was quite terrible today. So I'm probably at the point where it's like, try something new. I want to see something new with Slot going forward. And if he tries something new and it doesn't pay off, then I think we look in other directions towards like the players, and then we start really going in on, not really going in on the players, I guess, but like start questioning them.
Yeah, no, Craig. I mean, this question kind of came in, but I don't know if you got any thoughts about when do you start thinking about it. Maybe Waleed, you kind of suggested or invert it, but the next 5 games are really tough for Liverpool in the sense of the type of opponents, and it's not something that we can take for granted. We've got Villa, I'm sure, Palace, Madrid's in there, Man City, Nottingham Forest. Those are your 5 games. Regardless of wherever they are, but you know, it's not the easiest. I know, Johnny. All you can do is just laugh. Probably at this point.
That's all you can do.
But on a serious note, I've already said it in you know, a couple of WhatsApp groups that I'm part of. Does Slot have 5 games to kind of save and turn this season around, or for himself? Is it too soon to start thinking he could be removed from position or something along those lines?
Well, it's probably too soon, because if he does get the axe, who's out there? You know what I mean? Like,
what's German? That's already kind of said.
No, that's a terrible idea.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. So no, like, Arne Slot will likely finish this campaign. I think all of us are most likely in agreement with that. But I'm in agreement with Wall here that we are probably going to be seeing more draws and more losses. This is a long-standing issue. This is now 12 of the 13 matches across all competitions this season where we have needed a goal in the 83rd minute or later to bring us within a draw or a victory. You know, that's 12 of 13. I saw a tweet saying that if not for like a deflection, a Szoboszlai free kick, we're in 14th place in the league. league right now, you know? So there's clearly a lot of issues. I'm going to give Arne Slot the benefit of the doubt because last season it did feel like Arne Slot had the answers to the questions. You know what I mean? It felt like Arne Slot had all the right answers. My problem this season is it doesn't feel like Arne Slot even knows what the questions he needs to be asking are. You know, like the lineups that he deploys or the substitutions that he makes after the questionable lineups he deploys always just feel like he's throwing the kitchen sink out there trying to see what sticks. And it's definitely a little concerning. And my biggest fear is that the locker room starts to get lost because of it. You know, like you bring in so many guys that came in directly to play in this slot system, and now they're seeing the slot system, and it's not looking how we thought it would look. So I don't know. I'm holding reservations for right now. I don't want to send anybody into a panic, but those are the things that we unfortunately kind of have to think about right now.
Yeah, I know, and there's lots of things here. You know, I'm just going to pull up some of the comments and what we've seen in the chat. And please, everyone, whoever's watching this, please just drop in what your thoughts are. You know, there's some difficult questions that do need to be asked here. So I'm trying to make sense. I guess the only thing is Johnny, your mustache has had a call out. So brilliant. Let's go with that. A little positivity. You know, with what we're trying to deal with these few days. But Waleed, you know, what I haven't got your thoughts about the next 5 games. We could talk about the game actually. I do want to come back to the game, but there's a question about Slot. Are you worried right now? Do you feel that he can still persevere with tinkering, because that's what's probably causing him a problem?
Yeah, I think I'll take it back to firstly when Klopp left. I said no matter before even Slot came into the club, I said the person that replaces Klopp won't really be tested until maybe a year after, because Klopp was there for a solid amount of years. Infrastructure was in place. No matter, you know, even if a caretaker took over, there was always going to be that style of play that Klopp left over. My true understanding of a coach would have been tested when we had this down period, and I think when you'll really see somebody's coaching abilities or managerial experience, experience that they've had beforehand, when we hit this bump in the road that we've had a couple of times. And for me, again, I think it's the case of there's just there's the style of play for me. When I'm watching Liverpool nowadays, we're just completely away from what we're used to. It seems to, like, even when Johnny was explaining things, like, I just want to see something different. There's just this constant talk about we want to see something, and we've just completely moved away from the fact of a system play, of our personality being on the pitch. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, do we? It seems like we've just got 11 good players on the pitch, because I think everyone's talented on that pitch. Wirtz to TK, Isak. There's some serious ingredients in there, but for me, I don't think we have a good head chef. You know, we need someone that's going to cook up the team. And I think Slot is almost the manager that has taken over a really good kitchen. Everything was running so well, and now he's almost like been thrown these ingredients to cook. Now it's like, okay, this is your kitchen. What are you going to do? And I just think he's getting a bit flustered in terms of what's going on. I can see why there was hesitation in terms of offering Salah the contract and Virgil van Dijk the new contract. You can obviously see maybe data was showing what was going to happen, and maybe we should have gone to the data. But however, you do if damned if you don't. I think regardless of whatever happened, if they didn't give them the contract, all the fans would have got up in raw. Like, why didn't we offer new contracts? We've offered new contracts. They're dropping off in form. It's a double-edged sword. So, yeah, for me, I'd say I don't want to be the team where it was like United after Alex Ferguson. It's Chelsea after Mourinho, where they took a massive dive, and United went on this horrendous decade of no Premier League near enough, and even like when Arsene Wenger left, this years of no Premier League. I don't want to see Liverpool fall in this pit of just continuously sacking managers and trying to find the right one. I think this is. I honestly believe last year we was married to the right person. We split up. We went on a dating scene for 1 year. We absolutely loved it for 1 year. This was the best girlfriend in the world, and now we're living with her, and it's just horrendous. Now I truly believe we're starting to see signs of what this the relationship is. So yeah, for me, I think Slot needs real questioning. Honestly, I'm really worried about Slot. Everyone.
No. But you're right though. Okay, wonderful analogies there, Waleed. I really, really
So
like
many
that.
analogies.
The girlfriend.
Look,
I'm just tired of. I'm just tired of it. I just want to be single. No. I think my wife may be out there. Just.
But then you
listening.
regret it. don't you?
So if the camera
Like,
kind of
you
cuts
regret
out,
it. Because 1 year,
you know.
it's amazing for 1 year. Then you're like, do you know what? Maybe she was the right person. Now we want to go back to Klopp all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Maybe those years were amazing. So yeah, it's I'm just really worried about Slot. Like I said, there's these run of games in the last 22, half them losses. You know, even the 4 games that we won at the beginning of the season, like we're nicking wins here and there. You know, it's a 17-year-old kid who's smashing in the back of the net, and we're jumping with joy. But reality was we got absolutely battered with 10 men Newcastle on the pitch. So, you know, the results are amazing, but the actual gameplay that we saw was horrendous, and it was, you know, paving over the cracks for sure.
And I think we need to kind of have a little bit of perspective also, and I'll try to do that here in this conversation. If we go back to Klopp's early days and we had that heavy metal football, and that's what we were playing with, lads. You got to remember, you know, it wasn't stylistically or systematically very, very good, but it was very entertaining, and probably this is what we're seeing now. The obviously the joy of having the league title already kind of wrapped up last season's great, and we have that, and we can look back at that all the time. Going forward, it's going to be interesting. Certainly next 5 games. I'm looking at next 5 games. Let's try to see how Slot can actually work on this over the next 5 games and try to have that solidity within the team and the choices, because he does need to kind of get back to that. I will also say he has had injuries to key men. Ryan Gravenberch not being available because of suspension and injuries. Maka having that, and then getting battered by everyone. Every 6 seems like to pick on McAllister and just want to go through him straight away, and that's always gonna be a problem. Salah's kind of dropped off. There's so many caveats to everything, but that's no excuse, Craig, in regards to the performance tonight and how we are still unable to deal with physical opponents. You know, it's really, really obvious as to the game plan. A lot of the teams seem to play against us. You know, the team that didn't play against us, we thrashed them, but we're going to come against this week in, week out going forward. And how do you deal with physical opponents, Craig?
Oof. How do we deal with physical opponents? That's a fantastic question. I don't know if
You got to be physical back, right? You got to be physical back.
Have to. You absolutely have to be. You can't just sit on your ass. You know, you can't just take it. But unfortunately, the personnel that we have right now doesn't really allow for it. Obviously, like you mentioned, there's so many injuries that we've been experiencing this season, and then you have guys that are just obviously just not still in shape from the lack of a preseason. So like you said, you have to ramp up the physicality, but like what is the answer? You know, like what do you guys think the answer is? Like, well, Johnny, I'd love for you guys to chime in, because physicality, what is the answer to it when we're, like I said, we're throwing guys on the pitch and we're still not seeing intense effort? Like, Chiesa's awesome in the press. I love what he offered against Frankfurt. I think that's like a little option of physicality up front, but like Robbo coming in for Kirkaz offers a little physicality. Like, there's such little incremental adjustments that we can make based on personnel. So you're gonna have to out-system them. And right now the system's just, the players aren't buying it. Like it's again, I don't want to sound bleak, but it's a tough moment. That's a really difficult question to answer.
Can I offer,
I think
can I offer just one solution? Sorry, Johnny. Let me just I'll let you answer this one. One solution, someone that came on today, and maybe there's a way forward here rather than having Robbo's probably an answer to this, but what about on the other side? And you have Joe Gomez still at the club, and he played today. Is there something where there's a short-term fix that he can allow us to look at, Johnny? You know,
you read my mind, man.
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to bring up the fact that we brought Joe Gomez on in the last couple of minutes there, and that for me seemed like that was for a bit of physicality, because he's not a playmaker. You're taking off a playmaker and bringing on a defender, so which I thought at the time was pretty silly. But to answer your question, I think that's
the
why
wrong
he
attacker
probably...
potentially.
What's that?
the wrong attacker potentially came off for me.
Yeah. I don't even know if he should have taken off an attacker at that point, to be honest. But yeah, for the physicality part, I think winning our second duels, man. Like how many? That first goal
100%.
was abysmal. Who was it? Ekatike and Kanate, I think, are going up for that first ball in that throw-in, and they both miss it. Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
6-3, 6-3, 6-4. Yeah.
Yeah, like going up for it, miss it, and then Kirkes is just a pylon at that point, just standing there and I don't even know who scored the goal, but yeah, the physicality part is very. There was a point in the game where I think it was the start of the second half, like 50th or something minute. Brentford were just all over us in our 18-yard box. And I remember there was a point where I think it was Jordan Henderson, actually. He's breaking through our midfield, and I'm watching I know. I'm watching Curtis Jones, I'm watching Dominik Szoboszlai, and I'm watching I think it was Florian Wirtz at the time, getting outpaced by Jordan Henderson and shoved off by Jordan Henderson. Salah, there was a few times where he's got a player coming at him one-on-one and he just lets him by. You can't be doing that. Like these are experienced players that are letting this happen, by the way. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do for the physicality part. I think if we're going forward, like you said, I think Joe Gomez is, especially for like the right-hand side, is probably the only one that I can think of. Endo is injured, if I'm correct. Gravenberg's injured. So that's both our starting and backup CDM, both out. So I don't know. We're not a physical team, though. It's just Kanate and Van Dijk that are the only physical ones, it seems. Yeah, I don't know.
Walid, it looks like you want to...
I think matching physicality is a craziness almost. I don't think you should... look at Man City's dominant team. You had Gundogan, even like David Silva. These are small players who are just very clever. You wouldn't say, even De Bruyne wasn't really a physical player. He was just a smart player. Even Klopp's era, we had energy. We had like pace. We was closing and we was like making people like not breathe in that tight spaces. We weren't really that physical. Maybe, Henderson and Wijnaldum probably were a bit physical. But for me, it's, again, this is why I question Slot. We've got Szoboszlai is pressing somebody in the back line, which leaves a massive gap in the midfield of like two midfielders. Szoboszlai's just gone. He's chasing somebody down, and then nobody else is pressing. Everybody's just like sticking to their position as we'll win the second ball. But if you remember Klopp's reign, again, I'm not looking to be winning the league or anything. I just want to kind of keeping up the standards. Where are we? Like 8th or 7th? I don't know where we are at the moment.
6th now.
It was just dropped off massively. But again, I just want that kind of that hard working where, when Mane went, then, Robbo would go and the midfield would go and, Salah would go from the other side and we're just constantly pressing them. But, Szoboszlai goes and everyone's like looking around, like, do we go? Do we not? And it's like, this is why I question Slot. It's like, what are we telling these players? Do we press? Do we not? Do we stand off and hold the two banks of 4? Like, we need to understand what we're doing as a team. We're not a physical team. We don't need to beat them in physicality. We can just beat them in pressing and counter-attacking, which has always been our ethos. But all of a sudden, we're constantly trying to, do we do this? Do we do that? Do we play a 4-4-2? Do we play Szoboszlai right back? There's just too many questions going on for me. And I feel like we just need a system in what we do and what we do best. And that is, finding plays, making people suffocate. Like Arsenal are so good at suffocating teams when they've got the ball in the back. And we just seem to invite them, like, yeah, just go ahead, just launch one ball up the top and then we'll cause chaos. And then it's a goal, like United's goal, just complete chaos, through ball, 1-0, we're 1-0 down. So yeah, physicality for me isn't a question. It's more the case of we need identity, or I feel like we're slowly losing our identity within the team.
Yeah, so the intelligence is obviously one thing, and one thing that I listened to a lot or heard a lot from the players that were already there. So Trent spoke about it. Those the small minutia terms of details that Slot was bringing to the team, and it looks like we've just lost that way with the guys there. So do they look a little bit frazzled in terms of the instructions that they've been given? Have we gone too far technical rather than just thinking about just enjoying and playing the game that we should be seeing? But Craig, let's kind of get back to the game, and just trying to remember all those little highlights that we worked through. Wirtz, as good as good as he was midweek. Maybe physicality wasn't there, but he missed a really golden chance halfway through the first half when we were really playing well. But yeah, those are the opportunities that we need to be taking, right?
Yeah, absolutely they are. But again, like you mentioned, the physicality was there a little bit on Wirtz, but I do think like the way a guy like Florian Wirtz is playing does kind of come down into how the ball's being progressed into him. And when you have guys like Milos Kerkez and Connor Bradley pushing up the flanks as much as they are, Milos is keeping the width on the left, Connor Bradley's kind of coming in, so Mo Salah's keeping the width on the right. So you kind of need Florian Wirtz to be all over the pitch as opposed to focused in his half spaces a little bit. So he was coming up way higher because there wasn't really very much progressive build-up play. So we're seeing him get dispossessed more in those situations. We didn't see that against Frankfurt, though, because we were able to go into that back three and build the ball into Curtis Jones or build the ball into Szoboszlai, and then they were able to get it into Wirtz. So I think that's kind of like the reasoning for me why we didn't see Wirtz being super effective today. And that's also probably like partially why we didn't see anybody ahead of Wirtz being effective as well. So yeah, in the instances where guys aren't really being put in the situation to be effective, you have to convert in those golden chances. It's unfortunate that he didn't, but I don't want to dwell too much on those because so much was poor about the match, not just the finishing.
And actually, just a reading of the game, Johnny, their second goal, where it was such an easy pass from Damsgaard just to play through behind our defense. And again, we come back to basics of football, and your central defense should be in line with each other, but it seemed really kind of, again, probably that balance. And Konate was way ahead of Virgil. Was Virgil in the right position? Were they too far apart from each other to allow for that space when you consider Shade, or is that how you pronounce it? But the pace that he has, to actually outrun Konate. Again, like how do you kind of explain that? Is that just basic football that we're just not playing?
You've got two midfielders that are playing in a defensive position that are not defensive midfielders at the same time. They're both number 8. They're not defensive midfielders. They are always going to go forward and not come back as often. That's the typical number 8. We missed
that transition, wasn't it? We just lost that ball.
How many times,
crucial?
How many times this season have we given up transitions? Like so many. And like, I feel bad for Mamardashvili in net today because I actually think when Shardy's through on goal, I'm thinking I wish we had Alisson right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not thinking to myself, he's not saving this. I'm thinking that it's going in. I'm thinking that it's scoring. It's just so easy to play through us. And then it's so hard for us to play through other teams, which is just mind-boggling because I'm looking at who Brentford have. They have Damsgaard, Sade, Otara, and Thiago, and I'm missing one more, the other winger. And you're thinking, and Jordan Henderson too, and you're thinking, okay, like, they're good mid-table players, like, but they're playing through us. And it's not just Brentford that have done this. Bournemouth have done it. Frankfurt did it a few times against us midweek. And it's just happening way too often for me. It's so, with Liverpool, it's so backwards and sideways. The amount of times today that I'm screaming at the TV because Gakpo and Salah, the amount of time they've had overlapping runners, and instead they're cutting inside and just blasting it over, blasting it wide, or it's going backwards. 2 times today, we played the ball to an overlapping fullback, and 1 time we scored. The second time was in like the last kick of the game, and we nearly scored. We did it twice. Does that not tell you that if we've scored once and nearly scored again with that kind of thing, we should probably keep doing that? Even Slot said it midweek as well that he's telling Kerkez, okay, and Gakpo, okay, Kerkez is making the overlapping runs, but Gakpo is sometimes not finding him. Well, no shit. Like today, Gakpo wasn't finding him. Gakpo was too focused on getting the ball, cutting inside, and just being so... He's so consistent with it that everyone knows what they're doing. the fullback defending him is so. It must be the easiest job in the world right now, defending Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo, because you know what they're doing before they've even got the ball. You know what they're doing.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
It's infuriating.
Yeah, and it's been a question that's been asked a lot of time. I mean, so the Waleed, I get your thoughts about this. So the way that I've always kind of seen Cody's game is Cody plays well when Salah's playing well because of the ability for Salah to bring him into the back post, and those goals that you saw constantly and consistently all of last season, just it's dried up. So therefore, what else does Cody kind of bring into the team? He doesn't have the pace to go around the players, nor does Salah to go around players anymore. Again, you know, the question marks are always going to be there, and decision making. Now Salah, and I don't want this to be kind of just picking on Salah, but he's my biggest kind of issue right now. But the decision making from Salah, do you have any mega concerns about that right now?
I need to kind of remind maybe from last season. I think Luis Diaz was our main left winger, and that was a totally different ball game to, you know, whenever Luis Diaz was injured for a period of time. I think he dropped off here and there. Gakpo would fill in, but our main person in left wing, and I think that is what's hurt us the most. Luis Diaz leaving. I think people maybe they haven't realised that, but for me, that is one of the biggest things that has affected us this year in terms of our outlet up top. I think Gakpo plays almost as like a second striker who hangs up on the wing. He cuts in, and he's like very close to where Ekitike is, but then he just shoots, right? He wants to shoot. He does a couple of crosses here and there, but Luis Diaz was a totally different type of player. He'll take on the man, he'll go left, he'll go right. He's constantly looking for Salah. He'll chase the ball back. He'll always look open for the left winger. So Luis Diaz for me was unbelievable last season. And again, a system player. He understood what he needed to do and when he needed to do it. Salah's drop off, I think, 33 years old, I think he is, or 34. So this was always going to happen. He's been an unbelievable player. I think in terms of Premier League era for Liverpool, he's probably one of the best players that ever exist. So that takes away nothing of fact of what he has done. Yeah. Right now, if we bought him in the summer and he's playing for us right now, he would be judged on his current form. And for me, he's completely, again, it's not even the physicality. Yes, there's things that's dropped off, his pace, but for me, it's the decision making. There's certain points of the game where I'm just like, why would you do that? Even like the passes here and I'm like, why is it so soft? Why is it like undertouched? Why are his shots have just come? Do you remember Salah in the first like 3 or 4 seasons? He used to cut in shot top bins like every single shot. In the last season, I would say in the last year, his shots from that cut in shoot position just seems to be way off. So I'm not surprised by his, and I think we're almost being. It's almost like we're being too harsh on him because it's almost expected. Like we should have expected this, and we should have prepared for this. And this is what I have a lot of questions about. Not only Slot, but like the addition to the board and stuff. Like we should have prepared way better for this fall off. Even with Virgil van Dijk. I mean, you see Virgil van Dijk, and again, I don't blame Virgil van Dijk. I blame the board almost, or the people that are running the shop, to be like, this is a person that's gone toe to toe with City every single year. Mentally, he's going to drop off subconsciously. He's not going to have that drive to put in that last-ditch challenge or to be chasing. Even now, people like there's memes about him because he's so relaxed. He was always a relaxed player, but right now he just seems to, like, his body language is not the same, like just moaning all the time, looking at Kirkes with angry eyes, and Salah's just throwing his hands up every week. These are the body languages that we laughed at Arsenal for having a couple of years ago, or United for having. This is a completely different environment that we're in at the moment. So again, this is why I say there's a root cause for this. This isn't 1 or 2 games that we're losing. There's something much more deeper to this. And I think we need to root this out before this prolongs. And then again, we turn into the United decade eras of no Premier Leagues again.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever get to that stage. I don't think
so.
United said this as well. By
I will jump out of my window.
Ryan Giggs has a newspaper article that they'll never fall off like Liverpool did.
Yeah,
we're all laughing at him now. So let's not jump to.
No, I know that. I know. Yeah, absolutely. As bad as we were under Hodgson and all those years,
a lot of people forget about that era.
Yeah. We still weren't. this is probably like a discussion for another show, but we were still never as bad as what United were, certainly over the last kind of
No.
3-4 years. But let's kind of forget that because
I'm not saying that this is going to happen. I'm just saying we
Oh,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
work it out as soon as possible because I don't want to lead into that like we're constantly losing and we're wasting years. Again, listen, we came fourth with Klopp, we came fifth and second and stuff. Like, I'm not saying that we have to win the league, but like Johnny said, like we lost the ball in the midfield. Klopp's or like what we're so used to is people just pressing and like it's just everyone's defending. Like we make it ugly. Now it's like the ball drops and everyone's like looking around, like just we're all reactive rather than being proactive. Everyone's just waiting for that next pass or what do we do next rather than just like that hunger and that just win the ball back. Forget like what we're going to do next. Just win that ball back.
Can I just interject here quickly? I think, and I've thought about this for the past, like the last couple of losses here, and then you look and it got kind of proven in the Champions League. I don't think the big players like Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, Robertson, I don't think, and this might sound crazy to you guys, this is my opinion here, I think they care more about the Champions League this year. I think Salah coming out this year and saying that he wants the Champions League, and then he's saying that Arsenal are the favourites for the Premier League, it just instantly tells me, okay, well, I know where your heart is lying this season. You're not going to press as hard as you would in the Champions League round of 16 or 32 match, the way we're playing right now, even if we get out of the group stage, actually. I don't know. I just think that, like Wall just said, like, and we said earlier, like, they're not running as hard. But then you look at the game against Frankfurt and everyone's running. Everyone's pressing. Like, it just don't make sense to me. Like, it almost pisses me off because I don't want to see Arsenal win the Prem at all. Like, that's like the worst case scenario, I think, for this year for me, other than like Man United winning it. I just, from the game today, I just want to see them. I want to see them like give a shit. It just seemed like in the second half periods, they just looked like they didn't care.
Yeah,
And
that's second half.
It just annoys me.
Yeah, I'm losing track, and because there's just so much to talk about. It's been a while since I've spoken about Liverpool as well. So that second half, Craig, it's one of the worst 45 minutes of football I've seen for a long, long time, and that's not even me saying anything about the last 4 games. But you know, it's just the composure to be able to handle a Brentford side for 45 minutes. You know, we should be attacking, considering we got the very late goal in the first half. But that second half, it just seems we seem so devoid of ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. What you just said right there is actually very funny because I take notes throughout the course of the game just so I have some like reference points for my own personal videos, and I just completely stopped taking notes in the 59th minute because I just couldn't do it anymore. Like it was so debilitating just sitting there watching a total lack of energy, effort, give a shitness. Like there was just nothing, and it felt so soul-sucking watching it, seeing as though 3 or 4 days ago, every single person in here was like, "We are back, baby."
Yeah.
You know, like it's and like and now we're just sitting here like it's tough. I don't know. I
guess
nothing.
What you could have done from the 59 minutes, just copy and paste, because all everything that we tried,
it's
just
all it was.
Kept going. Yeah.
All it was. Yeah, it was brutal.
No, exactly. Okay, so we briefly just spoke about that second half, but you know, there's just a lack of kind of fight. Waleed, that penalty, do you think it was a penalty? There's two penalty decisions. Do you think the Gakpo one was correctly given and it should have been a penalty? And do you think the Brentford's penalty should have been given, considering we didn't really get a full angle down the line of telling us that it was actually on the line?
Yeah, I mean, it's very biased because obviously I'm going to say yeah, but I think the Gakpo one was.
It would have been soft. I would have thought.
I feel like his overreaction made it worse. Like I think it was, but like if you look at the VAR, you know, he kicked the ball away, but then it's almost like his overreaction made it too much of like it not being a penalty. But you know, if you look at it straight away, you're like, yeah, that's a pen. With the Virgil van Dijk one, again, it's almost like knowing the game and knowing the rules. Like, yes, he touches. Like, it reminded me of. Do you remember when we played Brighton? I think it was. I think it was Robbo that touched Welbeck's foot, like the top of it. And Welbeck like put his foot back and he just fell back because technically he touched him, right? Like in the real book, he touched Welbeck, he goes down. That's a penalty. But if you know the game, that does not bring you down, and that is not a penalty. So I think VAR was like, oh God, he's given a free kick, so we have to give a penalty because we just look like we're over, it looks like he doesn't know what the decision is. So I think if it was a free kick, they didn't care. But the fact that it was on the line, they almost had to give him a penalty because everyone knew in here, they knew, we knew, everyone knew that is not, touching the bottom of his foot is not, it doesn't bring a player down. And it's just one of those like you can't argue it because like technically, yes, it's a foul, but is it a penalty? Like it's just, I felt like it was so, again, it wasn't a penalty, but it doesn't overrule the fact that we were just horrendous almost. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just knowing the rules and then knowing the games. It's two totally different things.
I just remembered there was actually occasion last season, wasn't there, with Robbo giving away a penalty where it was adjudged to be on the line, and we had a penalty given against us. So yeah, there's precedence there as well. So great, wonderful, isn't it? Just being a referee, just making up there as they go along. Who knows? Yeah. Okay. Right, gents. We've been speaking for about 45 minutes. Let's kind of end on hopefully a bit of positive news. What are your thoughts about midweek, Johnny? Let's go with you first of all. Do you think we're kind of just really, really, really briefly? How do you think we should set up?
We play Palace in the League Cup, right?
Yeah, that's right.
How do we set up? I want to see Joe Gomez playing. I want to see Chiesa starting. I want to see us a 4-3-3, 3 straight midfielders. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see. I want to see Trey Nioni probably come into this type of game. Give him the chance at the 6. That's where he likes to play. I want to see him play as a CDM. If Isak's fit, I want to see Isak and Ekitike both playing. Because do we play the Tuesday and then Sunday? Is that what it is next week?
I think so.
I think. Because if it's Tuesday, Sunday, I think that's enough time for Ekitike and Isak to both play with each other and then probably come off in like the 60th minute break for Sunday. What else do I want to see? I want to see Wednesday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, that's still not too bad. Yeah. But yeah, I think to quickly summarize it.
Well, Wednesday, Saturday, sorry.
Wednesday, Saturday. So it's a late Saturday game.
Okay. Yeah, to quickly summarize, Joe Gomez comes in either right back or replaces Van Dijk and let maybe Konate and Van Dijk play. Chiesa has to start this game. And I would love to see Isak, Ekitike, and maybe Averts, those 3 playing together with Ekitike and Isak playing up top. Yeah, I just want to see a win. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Craig.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I think we all do. We need it for the soul, I think, after kind of tonight. Craig, what do you think, mate? Do you feel positive about going into that next game? It's a cup game, so it kind of takes the pressure off because the league is the league and it means a lot to a lot of people. But the cups kind of give you a bit of an escape from the doom and gloom as to what we're seeing already.
For sure. I do weirdly think the way that Crystal Palace tends to line up just has a little bit of Arne Slot's number, especially the last couple matches. We've just kind of struggled against the way that they attack us. So I'm kind of in agreement with Johnny about like all the stuff that he wants to see. I'd like to see Joe Gomez in there. I would like to see Isak if Isak's fit. Chiesa needs to start. I'd like to see either like Ekitike or Florian Wirtz off of the left. And that with Wirtz off of the left, you're able to get more midfielders into the game and control it a little bit better. Maybe go into like a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2-2 almost in build up. So I don't know. I mean, like you said, the cup games don't fill me with a tremendous amount of dread, so hopefully it should give us a little bit of reset. But like this is kind of a situation where now that we've lost 5 of 6, I almost wonder if Arne Slot's looking at these cup games as like these might be our opportunities to almost be in like a intense practice situation where like we actually should get the desired 11 that we want to progress with the rest of the season out there against a Crystal Palace team that might not be playing all of their best players, just to try to meld the 11 that we're playing with. So based on where we're at, who knows how we're going to line up? Like I seriously could not tell you. It's such a coin flip.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look at Palace's recent record because I don't think they have the best record recently. And
Palace are going to
Slavi,
want to win this cup as well, though. They're going to put
yeah,
a strong team out for this.
yeah. So they lost against Everton. They then drew 3-3 against Bournemouth and then lost at home in the European competition that they're in at the moment, where the Conference League. So they need a desperate win. So totally agree with what you just said there, Wally. But what are your thoughts about the Palace game? Really?
Yeah.
briefly?
I almost I don't want to kind of be a disagreement with them, but I almost feel like there's a fear for me that we don't even like if you don't win the league, you come second or third this Champions League spot. You know, we're in the top four. It's absolutely fine. I think now it's like we need to protect the players as much as possible because if we don't finish in the top four, this is going to be an absolute crisis. I know it's crazy talk right now, like top four, but there's so many teams that are doing well around us that we need to. Again, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'd rather think about the future. Like, I don't even want to have that conversation. So for me, I'd rather get these wins in the Premier League and put that as a priority. So I'd rest everyone and make sure everyone's right foot for Aston Villa. Like, if it means conceding the cup, then concede. I couldn't, as bad as it sounds, like, the cup's the cup. Like, play Chiesa, absolutely, get his run of games. I actually feel sorry for the guy. I think he should start in the Prem, but I think the cup is just like get the bench players or the squad or the reserve players playing. But that Aston Villa game, everyone needs to be, a week off, full training in a week. And that Aston Villa game needs to almost be a final. You're at home, 3 points, and just get this momentum as much as it got. That top four needs to be a priority. That's our league right now, top four. We're not going to win the league. We're not even going to come close to the title race. For me, it's just like get that top four secured, and then, like Johnny said, focus about the Champions League because it's happened before, right? We finished fourth, I think it was, or third, and then we won the Champions League. So for me, just get that top four secured so we can just write it off, win as many Premier League games as we can. We're going to lose some for sure, and then focus on the Champions League. These cups here and there, just don't risk playing the best players right now.
Yeah, there's lots of questions for Arne Slot over the next kind of few weeks. My battery on this laptop is just about to come to the end, so I think what we'll do is let's save face. Let's try to end this on a really positive note. Up the Reds, we will be back hopefully on Wednesday. Wednesday after the Crystal Palace game, or just slightly before if we can get some time in. From the emptiness that Liverpool brings us at the moment. I just want to say thank you to Craig, Wally, Johnny. Thank you for joining me on a very, very late UK time. Just want to say thank you to everyone that's throwing in some good chats. Everyone that's been watching on X and YouTube. We had some really, really good numbers. Hopefully, this gives you a little bit of comfort and that I don't know. We'll see. Let's close it off.
I don't know.
I don't know. I try to be really professional, but whatever. Gents, I just want to say thank you. We'll be back for more. Hit those likes, hit those subscribes, do all the good things. Leave a comment about your thoughts. Everyone that's watching now, in the future, whenever this is, and we'll be back. My name's Charlie, and good night. Up the Reds.